You didn't get it on your phone?
Great morning, good people. Thanks for hopping on. Do me a favor, everybody, go on mute until we get started, please. K2, what's up, bro?
What's happening, sir? What's going on with you?
Good, man. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Can't complain at all.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yes, sir. How's it going over there?
We good, man. You know, had a little family night last night, way too long. No, I know.
Yes, sir.
But we good over here. Good. So waiting on the man in the hour, you know.
Yeah. I think he out there on beaches and boats and things.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Tell him just be careful next time. I think he learned his lesson this time.
Yeah. Definitely. I gotta stay dangerous out there.
Right. Oh man. For those of y'all joining, great morning. Appreciate y'all for jumping on. I'm gonna say this now because I'm gonna probably have to say it 4 or 5 times, even though I don't think I should have to. This is the Coffee Q&A call. Q&A stands for questions and answers. So you got to bring your questions, and we're gonna get started very shortly.
Yeah, great grind day. Can y'all hear me all right, Ross?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm waiting for this slow behind coffee machine to give me my second cup so I can get this thing popping the right way. But in the meantime, let's welcome our guest for this week, Kendall Ficklin II, aka K2, aka my namesake. And like I said before at the beginning, the objective with Coffee Q&A when we bring guests on is to bring people on that aren't necessarily a social media influencer, but are building and have built something online as well as offline. And one of the reasons why I want to do that is because I want everybody to understand, like, just because people don't see you out in the public or online killing the game doesn't mean you're not being successful. So we want to bring that balance. And my son has been, he never worked a full-time job. I wouldn't let him. Used to get into it with his mom about him getting a little job at Subway, I think it was. But he'd been in the shop with me cutting since he was 13. He got his first pair of clippers at 13. And he just came up through the ranks and he started doing real estate. He'll tell y'all the story, but he started doing the real estate, and through the ups and downs and ins and outs, he's been able to build a very successful real estate investment business. And so I brought him on because I wanted him to share, especially with a lot of my young cats, my young men and my young women. You know, I'm, you know, myself and I was about to say Jay Ross, but damn, not even Jay Ross. Who else on here is a little senior? Phil, my man Phil, a couple other people. We're a little senior, but I wanted a lot of my young people to see that, yo, there's a lot of different ways to be successful. And not only is he successful in business, but he's married, 4 kids, and he's just doing it. So I wanted him to come on, share his story. I want him to open up with his story, how he got started. And then I wanted to open it up for us to ask questions about just asking questions. And we're just gonna do our regular Q&A. So K2, good to have you, sir.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yep, you good. Just walk them through, tell them a little bit of the story, and then we're gonna open it up for Q&A.
All right. So yeah, how y'all doing today? Great grind day, great morning, everything. So like you said, man, I've been, you know, an entrepreneur since I started my first business when I was 11. So that was 2001. So we almost talking about 2 decades of entrepreneurship, building business, making money, creating money out of thin air, something out of nothing, all those things that you guys want to call it, right? For me, basically, you know, business has always been something that kind of I've been into, and I think subconsciously when I was younger, I used to watch my pops, get out there and do his thing. And when I was 11 was really the first time I stepped out there to do some business, right? We started up a clean landscaping company, right? We started cutting grass. And one of the things that happened is that when I started doing that business, I got kind of addicted to the feeling of going out there, doing something and coming back with something. You see what I'm saying? So that experience and that process is what had me is what introduced me to the entrepreneurship life before everybody started calling it entrepreneurship, right? Obviously, the word was around back then, but now everybody and their mama is like, entrepreneur me, please, right? But this is back before that was something that was going on in the public eye. So, like he said, I got started cutting hair when I was 13. That's when I picked up my first pair of clippers and he taught me how to cut. I did my first haircut in the barbershop at 15. And I'm not going to sit here and go through like every business, everything I did, because let's just get to the point. Let's get to the nitty gritty, right? That's for another day. Basically, let's talk about the real reason why I'm on here. We can fast forward over to when I got started in the real estate, right? Because a lot of the things that happened before I got started in the real estate was kind of like preparation for where I'm at right now. So when I got started in the real estate, this was back in, I want to say, August. Okay, so here's the crazy thing. I was just going through my box the other day in my office when I was setting it up. And I used to think that August 2013 was when I actually got into real estate. But I come to find out, I started looking at some of my old programs. And the first program I ever bought, it was called Filthy Riches by this guy named Larry Goins. And what I did was I had this course and I purchased it back in July of 2013, which is crazy because the reason why I got into real estate was because, back before I was cutting hair and I was doing a lot of hustling. And what happened is that I had to stop hustling. I had to figure out something new to do. And when I mean by hustling, I mean by illegal things, right? For those who don't know. But for me, I had to change that and start doing something different because I ran into a situation where it was called for a shift, a pivot, and adjustment was called for. So basically what I did was I didn't find real estate at that time because I've always known about real estate. My father gave me this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, back when I was 16. And when I was 16, of course, I didn't really understand the book. I didn't know what was really going on with it. I might have read a chapter or two, maybe, if that, and then put it back down. But what it was it was like a seed. You always hear people talking about dropping a seed. And when you drop that seed, somebody else might come and water it. And then when it gets watered there, sprout through the ground, and you'll start to see something bear from that seed that was dropped years ago. So what happens is that I already had the seed in my head about real estate, but I was looking for something that I can do where I can still remain me. Like my pops was saying, I've never worked a job before. I don't do I have no resume. You couldn't hire me. You would ask me, well, what kind of experience do you have? My own experience. I don't have experience, right? So for me, it was like, what else can I do that can keep me in that same realm of lifestyle or living life that I was used to living? So it came across as real estate was the thing, because I was riding down the highway one day, and I hear on the radio, I hear this little ad where, they talk about the free workshop for real estate and things like that, where you can come in and you can just come for a weekend. It's like 2 hours and you just get free information. So, me and my wife went because I'm in search of something right now. I'm looking for something that I can actually do that can swap out what it was that I was doing before and give me that same adrenaline rush, that same this is what I've been looking for. So I went to the class, and when I went there, I was like, oh, damn, this is it. I can do this. And then I figured out that I can do it while still wearing jeans and a t-shirt. I didn't have to be suited and booted. I was like, yes, we in the game. Perfect. So once I went from there, I started basically just studying and just locking in. But the point about the whole point of this story is that I get the question a lot of times, especially from young dudes or even adults who have lived their life doing something specific and then get to a point where they have to change. And the question is always, how did you change? How did you switch it up? Because it's difficult when you talk about being in the streets for 8 years plus, cutting hair for 13 years plus. These are things that we did on a consistent basis every single day. Obviously, there were things intermingled in there, but when we talk about the most consistent parts of my life and the things that I've been most successful with, those things are the things that, those things are the things that basically creates a pattern and a habit in your life and what you're used to doing. So with a lot of people who've been working a job for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years in a certain field might find it difficult to pivot and adjust into something new, even scary, because it was scary for me as well. And don't get me wrong, when I had to pivot and change, it wasn't fun and it was not easy. I actually went through a depression period, if you would call it, for about a good 6 months to a year. I'm gonna give myself a year. It could have been a little less, you know what I'm saying, but I'm gonna say a year. And really, because when I stopped hustling, it was something that was a part of me and something that was now removed from me, almost like a withdrawal. So it's almost like if you're in a business or a career of, let's just say, healthcare for 15 years, 20 years, and you were just so passionate about it, and then one day you had to stop. Just cold turkey, you just had to stop. You had to make a decision. Well, maybe I'm gonna lose my family because of the hours that I'm working every single day. And I have to make a decision now. Do I want to not raise my kids or not be there for my family? Or do I want to continue to pursue this career? There's a risk and reward balance that you have to weigh, right? So what you do is, if you're in a position where you have to change that profession that you've done for 15 to 20 years, it might feel difficult. It's going to feel weird. You're going to feel depressed. You're not going to feel like yourself. And it's going to be a challenge. This is the place where I was at, where I'm going through my transition from, the streets to actually doing real estate. There's a second transition I went through as well, which I'm going to get to in a second, which wasn't as bad because I learned from my first transition, right? So when we did that transition and we got into real estate, we started building, and I started learning the game. But it took me about 2 years to do my first deal. All right. Now, my first deal, my first check, 2 years from the time that I actually went to my first class and learned about what this game was. Now, most people would not be sitting around for 2 years trying to get a deal done. I want y'all to not even write this down, just take note of what I'm saying. I waited 2 years before I got my first deal. Most people would stop probably after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Just keep that. All right, just keep that right there on the side. Okay, cool. So 2 years later, we actually did our first deal. Now, when we did our first deal, before we get to our first deal, in order to get that deal, there were a couple struggles and things that we had to go through in order to get there. First off, I was not consistent the whole 2 years. So let me just throw that out there and keep it real, right? I did not sit here and study every day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. I'm locking in and let's learn this real estate. No, I was going through waves. So I might be on it for 1 month, 2 months, ain't nothing going on. I'm like, damn. So I'm slowing down and I'm just trying to find something else to make some money. Remember, I started real estate once I left the street. When I left the street, 70% of my income was gone from my household. I have just been married. We got the baby on the way. Understand something, and I already had a kid. All right. So y'all imagine losing 70% of your income like that. All right. I'm just saying. So when we lose 70% of the income, it's not easy to just maneuver through life and try to figure out new things. That's why I don't really like to hear people in their excuses when they talk about, oh, I can, or oh, this, or oh, that. It really doesn't matter to me because nobody cut me any slack. All right. Life didn't cut me slack when it was time for me to make my decision on where I needed to go with life and the things that I need to do to prepare my family onto the next level of life. Right. So at the end of the day, when we're going through this situation of losing this money, everything that I'm doing, I'm very this has to work, because we really don't have anything. Any dollar that's invested, I'm hoping that it comes back because I really need that money. You understand what I'm saying? So as we're going through this process of this 2 years and building, probably about 6 months in, I started to feel like, maybe this might not be the move. All right, maybe this might not be exactly what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And then I run across this cat named Jay Morrison, right? I saw a YouTube video on him, and he was his picture or his avatar. Would you, if some of y'all would know what that means, or his testimony of where he came from connected to the type of things that I used to do and where I came from. You see what I'm saying? So when I saw that he was actually doing real estate and he was doing something called wholesaling, which is something that I wasn't really privy to but prior to meeting him, that's when I decided to say, you know what, if he can do it, I know I can make it happen. I mean, come on, because prior to that, all I'm seeing is a bunch of old white dudes. I'm seeing old black, even older black dudes. Like these cats is like 50, 60 years old. Yeah, you're going to be winning. You super mature. Mind you, I was 23 years old. You see what I'm saying? So I needed somebody who can show me that this is something that you can do currently, right here, right now. And that was it for me. Once I saw that, after that, that's all I needed. So I took an investment and I paid to get down in his university. And his university is where he actually taught about how to do real estate. Now, the program was something where it was like it was a program of processes. The first thing of the program was about getting your look together, get your suit game right, get this right, get that right, branding, business cards, all these other things, right? And now I'm saying this for a reason. There's nothing wrong with any of those things, right? But as I look back, it was a lot. I didn't need any of that. I don't care about the brand. I don't care about the suit. At this point in time, I didn't care about wearing my gray suit, my navy blue suit, and my black suit. I didn't care about my business cards being laminated in 1.2 inches thick or whatever they call that. I didn't care about none of that. What I wanted to do was do a deal. You understand what I'm saying? I wanted to make some money. And a lot of times people who get into real estate or any other business, they want to make money. All right. So as I'm getting into there and I'm ready to start making some money, I meet another one of my mentors because this guy wasn't really giving me what I needed so I can just kind of jump off the porch and get to it. So I meet another mentor, and this is the guy who really taught me the real game and where I got my first check at. You understand what I'm saying? The first check that I made was $10,500 in April of 2015. And I got with my second mentor who actually taught me the game December 14th, 2014. All right. So remember, I started in July 2013. Okay. So this is what I'm saying about everything is a process and everything takes time. And you have to be willing to stay down until you come up. And that's something that I live by. That's a mantra that I live by. I know you guys hear Pops talk about mantras. Stay down till you come up is a mantra that I live by. So once we get to that first deal, we'll start picking it up with questions and answers after that. But once we get to the first deal, it was like proof of concept. It was something that showed me that it was real. Now, how I got to the first deal was not by doing branding with shirts, suits, and business cards. How I got to the first deal was by putting in actual work. A lot of times we can trick ourselves and think that learning is actually working, right? We get so caught up in getting the education and we feel good. Yo, I just learned this, I just learned that. But really, you ain't put in no work and you ain't do nothing. So what are you really doing with what you learned? You tricking yourself. You making yourself feel as though that you're progressing when you're not really progressing. And that's what was happening to me for the first year and some change of doing real estate. I was just so excited that it was something new. And I was thinking that I was really making progress when really all I was doing was just running on a hamster wheel, being scared to actually bust a real move that will create real progress and real forward movement. Right. So basically I got my second mentor, and when I got with him, that's when we started doing marketing. That's when we started actually executing on the basic principles of doing real estate. And through that execution is where we got our first deal. And from there, the rest is history.
So before we before we jump into Q&A, Jay Ross, I want to add a couple of things just to kind of frame what he said. One of the biggest things that I taught him and that he does that I love is we believe in working and thinking in that order. So we may put together a framework, but what we learned, what I learned and what I taught him was, let's go do it. And as we're doing it, we're going to work the kinks out. And one of the things that he was talking about is a lot of us spend too much time in the thinking space and not enough time in the working space. And you need to spend more time in the working space because that's when you actually get to see if what you thought about is going to work. And so one of the biggest challenges for a lot of people is actually going out and fighting the fear and going out and working what it is that they're learning. That's the first thing. And then the second thing I wanted to say is, notice he said his first check, that 10,500, you said it was 2015, right, Kendall?
Yeah, that was April 2015.
Right. And so he started, he said, in 2013. Right. Yep. Now, notice, all he was doing was cutting hair during that time because he had stopped hustling. So now he stayed in the game. He learned. There were deals that came that didn't go through. There were ups and downs and things like that. But he was in it for the long game. And now it's 2020. And since that time, multiple deals have happened because he just stayed in the game and stayed with it. And so if y'all take anything from that, I want you to take that. Here's a young person that had a family, that was building his family, that just stayed in the game, that decided to do something. He had to sacrifice a life that he was used to making money at, 70% of his revenue. And he stayed in the game and kept on working, not just thinking and planning. All right, Ross, let's get it.
All right, let's go. So we got a couple questions. Basically, somebody asked, which I was going to ask you too, so it's a good question. What was something that kept you going through the waves? I know you talked a little bit about staying down until you come up, but like, what kept you going? Because many people would have stopped, many people would have quit.
Yeah, I get this question a lot. To be honest with you, it's in my DNA. It's just in me. You know, I really don't, it's nothing that I even, to me, it's not even, there really is nothing else to do but go. You see, like in real life, and this is not like something I'm really just saying to make it sound cool. Real talk, there really is, I don't have the luxury to sit down and just chill and be like, it won't work. Let me just wait and see what happens. I don't got that luxury. I got a girl, I got kids, I got family, I got myself, I got sisters, I got brothers. I don't have the luxury. And a lot of times that luxury is what makes people lazy. Luxury can make you lazy, right? And that's just real. So I don't really, the answer to that is that I don't even consider anything else an option. There's only one way to go.
I love that, K2. One of the things that I often say is that we always think that we have an alternative. Mm-hmm. We don't. So in our head, we'll choose the worst case scenario as it's the alternative versus the work. Like you want to do the work because you're trying to shift something in your life. And so if you rely on what you've been doing, you're not going to progress, right? So it's like you have to really frame your mind to say there is no alternative but to get this work.
Pretty much. And I tell people too, like, this is not just something that I do. Like I'm doing it currently. I'm learning. I'm in the process of learning different businesses right now. I'm building something right now on the low. Nobody needs to know about it because I'm not doing it for anybody to know. I'm doing it to continue to build. But I don't just talk this because, oh my God, you've mastered real estate and yeah, it's easy to talk that talk now. Nah, I restarted the process in a whole new field of business currently right now. So I'm even showing my wife right now, like, look, yeah, it might have seemed easy back then when I did it. I'm gonna do it again. It's something brand new. And I'm gonna go through emotions, every emotion, and we're gonna make it happen.
Ross, let me add to that question before you go to the next one. So the question was, how do you keep going through? And this is for everybody. It doesn't matter, like unless you've been a full-time entrepreneur your whole life and you ain't never had a job, life develops this mindset in us. And so the very first thing that you got to change as you're going into business is your mindset. That's the first thing. You have to come out of an employee mindset from an occupational mindset. You got to start thinking like a true entrepreneur. Now, I'm talking about who we see on social media in jets and all that other stuff. I'm talking about what it takes in the trenches to be a true entrepreneur. Your mindset has to shift. So when Kendall says it's in his DNA, it's because he never saw the other mindset. He never saw that luxury, lazy mindset. All he saw was Pop getting. All he saw. So that was his mindset. So he doesn't have that mindset issue. But a lot of us, myself included, even in the late 80s and the 90s, I worked a 9 to 5. A lot of us have worked jobs. A lot of us have come through corporate America. A lot of us have this mindset that says when you go somewhere, whether you chilling or you're not, you're gonna get a check every week. And he came up with a mindset that says, I'm only gonna eat when I kill. I only eat what I kill. And so if you can shift your mindset, Coach, how do you shift your mindset? You gotta put yourself around lions that wake up every day and hunt. I'm gonna say it again. You gotta put yourself around lions that wake up every single day and hunt. I'm on the beach in some remote part of Georgia, and I wake up every day and hunt. I woke up yesterday hunting. I woke up this morning hunting. And throughout the day, I'm gonna hunt. Coach, why you hunt? Because if I don't hunt, nobody eats. Just think about it, James. Think about the lion. Lion wake up every day and go get it. Jay Ross wakes up every day and got to hunt. Mel B wakes up every day and got to hunt. And so it's this mindset that you gotta instill. And don't look, I gotta say this. Don't get this caught up with the emotions of it, right? The motivation of it, right? Putting on your favorite video to get you going. That's okay to get started, but that emotion is going to wear off. And after the motivation wears off, that's where your discipline got to kick in. And so how do you develop the discipline? By waking up every day and hunting. Now, let me add this little piece in there. You can't just be out there saying, yo, I got to go eat, and you don't know what you're hunting for. You got to learn how to get strategic. And when I was younger, when I was a young, I'm going to say it like this, Mel B, when I was a young OG in the game, I would just wake up and be like, yo, I got to get this bread. And whatever hustle came to us, that's what we did. Whether it was DVDs, whether it was work, it didn't matter whatever the hustle was. But we grown now. Everybody on this call grown. And so what you can't be doing is out there grinding all willy-nilly. Like you gotta wake up and be like, all right, what kind of business do I want to have, right? All right, what am I good at? Let's start with that. What are you good at, right? Then you say, okay, what can I do that's going to generate money? What can I sell? Whether it's a service or a product that's going to generate money. Then you're like, all right, who can I sell it to? I told somebody the other day, we was on the call, I was like, he got a book. And I was like, how many books you got? He's like, I got about 30 books in the trunk of the car. I said, but you just told me you ain't got enough money. Like you ain't making no money. I said, what you doing with the books that's in the trunk of the car? Man, I've been posting on social media. On social media, have you stood out front? Have you stood in the parking lot and offered for people to buy your books? That's hunting. That's going out and selling something. That's getting rid of a product. That's training you to train your mindset to wake up every day and hunt. So you got to shift the way you think.
Yeah.
Like it ain't, go ahead.
Like a lot of people say to me, yeah, man, but you know, you always been an entrepreneur. Your dad, yo, you seen your dad, boom, boom. You had, man, listen, man. Yeah, I had an example and yeah, I was able to see it. But let me tell you how you as an individual who did not have that example can still do it. Because that, to me, the first thing I think of when people say that, here you go trying to create an excuse. Here you go trying to go ahead and create a little leverage for yourself to not do what you're supposed to do. At the end of the day, this how you create it is, I mean, I'm gonna get real practical right here. Because I had to think about this a while. I always look at when you're going through something, right? Because a lot of the things that knock people off of the wagon when you're trying to build something and you're not used to doing that is the emotions that come with it. It can hurt. It can feel, you're gonna feel some type of way, like you went and bought 50 shirts or 50 books and they didn't sell, or nobody liked the product, or nobody. It's been plenty of products I sold. The streets, they just didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. All right, back to the drawing board. But the thing is that in order to start creating that type of there's no other option mindset, you have to be able to look at your experiences and what you went through, and for that specific point in time, recognize and realize that, yo, I'm gonna be okay. I made it through everything. I'm sitting here. If you got a cell phone, you got internet, and you got water, and you got gas, like, I really don't want to hear nothing. You okay? Okay, like you're gonna be fine. Like real talk. I hate when people be like, yo, life is so hard, but you got $150 cell phone plan. Like, I mean, I don't get that. So the point is that you have to understand that you already made it through 100% of the things that you've been through, first and foremost. So you're going to live to fight another day. And second off, this is business. Businesses fall and reopen every day. This is not the end of the world. So once you realize it's not the end of the world, once you realize you're going to be okay, and once you learn how to take no's and failure in stride, that's when you'll be able to start seeing some progress in entrepreneurship and in your business.
All right. So someone asked the question, you kind of hit at this in the beginning. So what's your ultimate goal? What's next on your agenda of entrepreneurship?
So like the next step as far as business wise, I'm assuming they're saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, the next step is just to take it to the next level in real estate as far as expanding the brand. Right now we're in 4 markets right now. As far as real estate is concerned, we're around 10 counties around Atlanta. We're down in Augusta, and we're in Tampa, and we're in Orlando. Right now, we're just looking to break into different markets. We're looking at Indianapolis, Kansas City, and we're building upon the foundation that we've already set real estate wise. When it's not comes to real estate, I'm not going to speak on that right now because I'm not like everybody. I don't talk. I do and I show, and then you see. You feel what I'm saying? And then
They were trying to get you to drop the secrets, man.
I'm trying to give it up.
Let me say this. Let me say this. I'm gonna talk. All right, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna tell you why, because I'm coach.
Yeah.
So I need to inspire somebody. We about to roll out in Indianapolis, Kansas City, Tampa, Orlando. I think it's 16 other cities. 16. We're not doing the wholesaling like all these other coaching programs. We're gonna package that joint up, and when you come in, we're gonna put you in a market where you can generate revenue. It's gonna be an investment. You're gonna go in, we're gonna walk with you and hold your hand. Indianapolis and Kansas City is gonna be the pilot.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the pilot. Yeah, that's gonna be the pilot. And so here's the thing, guys. I think it was, go ahead, Ross, you got it. I'm sorry. I was about to go in. My bad.
I can tell.
I was about to go in. You see what I'm saying? I was about to go in.
Yeah. Like that part is what we're doing as far as like scaling and going to the next level real estate wise. I've been wholesaling I've done some fix and flips as well, but I've been wholesaling for 5 years. So now is the time to level up and take things to a new level. We got a turnkey company starting next week, where we're gonna start doing turnkey renovation and things like that. So like I'm always speaking about things that we really doing in real life. You know what I'm saying? So we're doing that. Like Pops was just saying, we're scaling out the actual business in a box per se, if you would say, where we will get you set up in your different markets. All these things are in motion in live concert right now. This is what we're doing.
Someone asked a question, or James asked a question. What are 3 key factors for success in real estate investing?
3 key factors to success in real estate investing: marketing. All 3. Marketing. Because here's the thing. If you don't market, there's no money to be made, period. So I don't care if you know how to evaluate deals. I don't care if you know how to sell deals. I don't care if you know how to convert leads. There's no leads to convert if you do not market. And now, if you asked me this 3 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, you got to know how to do your formulas. You got to know how to do your you know what I'm saying, your marketing plan. You got to get your budgets right. You got to, go to meetings and things like that. Nah, marketing. Because without the lead flow, there's no deal flow. The deal is in the lead. LEAD, DEAL. The deal is in the lead. If you don't get the lead, there are no deals. And without
Let me add to that.
There's no success.
Let me add to that too for James. You can always remember this is for everybody, really. You can always get started with nothing, but as you begin to build, when you're ready to scale, you need to make sure your credit is tight work. Let's get that straight off the rip. Like I don't care. You can see all these little hookups. Yo, get this with no money down. It is possible. Kendall used to do it and he probably still does it. It is possible. But as you begin to scale out, if you're making money, get your credit straight, get your finances together. Let me say this to somebody. I don't know who this one's for. I don't know who this one is for, but make sure that you are, I call it a war chest, where you're putting money to sit for when opportunities come. Get your credit right, get your war chest right, get your money right. Learn how to manage your money, and you gotta know your numbers. It just goes back to making sure that your personal life is tight work. Manage your money, manage your credit. How you gonna manage $1 million or $10 million in real estate and you can't manage $5,000 a month in your personal life? You can't even pay your $500 car note.
Yeah,
you're not managing a $350 car note. Go ahead, Kendall.
I'm gonna tell you too. So wholesaling real estate. Yeah, all right. So everybody be like, I'm glad you said that. Everybody says no money down, stuff like that. And I first off, when I started my landscaping business at 11 years old, I needed gas for the lawnmower. All right. Like it costs $1.50 to get a gallon. You feel what I'm saying? Like I needed a lawnmower. You feel what I'm saying? So what did I have to do to go get that? I had to go collect my change. I don't even remember how I got. Matter of fact, I think we had a lawnmower. I think we already had one, right? I think Pops had one, or my man had one. I got his. I forgot what I did, but I needed that tool. Even in real estate wholesaling, yeah, it don't cost no money to buy a house, but you need money to market. You got to have some paper. You have to have it. And I'm not saying you have to have thousands of dollars. But what I'm saying is that you have to have something. You ain't going to get, even when I say I built something out of nothing, please believe that nothing still has some type of value to it. You understand what I'm saying? Whether that nothing that you consider nothing is a resource that you can go to and tap into to get the little something that you need to create something more, right? Whatever it is, you have to have something. Even when I talk about marketing, it don't mean that you got to spend thousands of dollars a month marketing, but marketing is getting up and getting in front of the people who have the product that you need to buy so that you can resell. Marketing is putting yourself out there. You feel what I'm saying? So don't make it just a straight, oh man, I got to market. Marketing is expensive. Marketing yourself could be free.
Let me
Coach,
just hit on something real quick. You got something, Jess?
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna speak to the person right now that's like, I don't have anything to give. Most of the time, when you look at how you are doing your personal finances, there's always something that you can either cut back or figure out a way that you could earn a little bit more money, whether it's working overtime, whether it's going into other like funds that you have stored to the side. But there's always a way for you to start with something. And K2 brought up a point earlier where he said you got a $150 cell phone bill, but then you say you don't have money to invest. Like the pride won't let you go to Metro PCS and get that $40 plan, right? And so you still would have an extra $110. So where could you make your life and your finances a little bit leaner so that you can start investing? It's the same thing with your time. People say all the time, I don't have the time to do this or that. I can't figure out how to get my schedule together. When you really take a look at either your finances or your time and look at how you are allocating them, there's always a way to cut it somewhere just to get that little seed to get started. And so if it takes you 90 days to buy the lawnmower, then so be it, let it take you 90 days. But start off with a plan once you scale back on your finances and your time.
Absolutely.
Got it. Coach, James asked the question, what's the best way for expanding, or what's the best vehicle for expanding visibility for a custom cabinetry company?
The best way to expand visibility for custom cabinetry. All right, so when you're talking about custom cabinetry, the first thing you have to do is think about who it is. When you say expanding, I'm assuming you're already in business. All right, because I'm assuming you're not trying to expand something you haven't even put on the plate yet. All right, so when you're talking about expanding a business, first things first is, okay, who is my client? So are you selling cabinetry to businesses? Are you selling cabinetry for residential? Who are you moving this cabinetry to? Now, if it's residential, I'll speak on that. If you're selling cabinets, let's just say for fix and flip investors and you want to sell cabinetry, right? First thing you have to do is you have to get around the individual who needs your product. All right. So that means real estate flippers. That means real estate agents who know homeowners who might want to upgrade their cabinetry when it comes time to resell a property. This is where you got to start getting creative in your mind. Who can actually use these custom cabinets? And then also remember, custom is a luxury, meaning that people going to want to have to pay more for custom. Just equals more money to me. When I hear custom, I hear check. All right. So you have to understand that you're going to be dealing with a more higher end clientele. So when you're doing your marketing should look higher end. Your marketing should be being put in front of people who make a bare minimum of $250,000 a year on gross revenue, right? Whether as a family or as an individual, or if you're marketing it to businesses, a business who does the capital and who has the clientele to make it make sense for a custom cabinet. When I can go get white shaker cabinets, custom cabinets, once again, is a luxury, and it has to be something that an end user is going to purchase that will help them increase revenue. If you're really in business, you're not buying custom cabinets for a look, you're buying it to increase revenue. So make sure that whatever packages it is that you're putting together, you are explaining to the individual that you're selling it to how it can increase your revenue.
And this is for everybody on the phone. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, this is.
Let me add on to that for James too. So the first part of what Kendall said was, you got to know who your ideal customer is or client. Then you got to find out where they're located. Here's the key: don't just do online. Do online and offline. You should have two models: an online model and an offline model. So wherever that ideal customer is, whether it's the real estate agents, whether it is the real estate investors, whether it is the local retail shop, don't limit your marketplace. There might be a Home Depot may be in the need of custom cabinetry, where you can subcontract your services out. So once you understand where they are online and offline, on the online piece, use social media as a tool, right? As an aid, meaning if your ideal client, let's just say real estate agents that make over X amount of dollars, you find out what social media platform they're on, and you engage with your ideal client on social media, like some of their posts, comment on some of their posts, engage with them. A lot of times we just use social media just to drop posts, yo, check out my work. People do business with people. People don't do business with products. We do business with people. And so you engage with them on social media and you start to build that up. And now you have a database of people who have an indicator of interest in your business. In the offline, in the offline space, you find out what trade shows they're at, what meetings, what seminars they're going to, find out where their conferences are. And you get yourself a trade show booth and you put your stuff out there to the marketplace. If it's whatever it looks like in your industry. And then you start to engage with people. And as you meet people, you put them into your database and you do what I call the G3A. You give, and you ask. But business is about people and relationships, not just dropping a post in social media. Make sure that you engage with them. And last point, when you are posting on social media for your business, you are posting value added information, pictures. So like all my guys that do training, you're a fitness trainer. Let me just tell everybody and their mama is showing videos of them training people and you in the gym. Let me help somebody out. Nobody cares. Nobody don't care about you posting pictures of you training your client. But you know what I would care about? Man, can you tell me what the benefit of that training is? Can you tell me why you're doing that training? Can you educate me on doing it? Literally. And when you do that, now you create interest. The objective is to create interest in from someone with your business. So Benny, I see, asked the question in the chat, how do you attract and not chase, right? By adding value to the marketplace, by showing, sharing, serving, and solving a problem for the people in the marketplace. Let me show you in real life how it works. Everybody, and right now we got 70 people on this call. We got hundreds of people that have registered for this call. We do this call every week for free. We bring guests on every week for free. New people, 30, 40, 50 new people are registering for this call every week. There is an indicator of interest. How do we get people to register? My team on the back end is engaging with people on social media. We have an email list we're sending out to people. We bring in guests to attract people from their network, from their platform. People jump on here, they're getting their questions answered. We're giving, and then we're asking you to do something. It works. So now we're not chasing you to come on here. We're attracting people on here because of the value. So as you talk about your custom cabinetry, what is the value that you can offer to the marketplace? Not just in the picture of it or the aesthetic of it for your client. What value can you give to your client? Go ahead, Ross, you got it, my bad.
Oh, good. So K2, Butch asked, what role did having a father who's an entrepreneur help in your success? You kind of answered this a little bit, but go in a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think the role is that so let me say this. Okay, this is the real role. The real role is that it's two parts. The first part is obviously there's an example. As I said, at that age, I wasn't considering it an example. It was subconsciously I was seeing it subconsciously. You see what I'm saying? He told me, I don't even remember. I used to ride with him on the Brooklyn train to go to the barbershop in Brooklyn at what, 2 months, 2 years old? Like, I'm with him when I'm under. I don't even think I remember life before 8 or 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of the things that I'm learning about my come up and like as I was growing up, I'm starting to see like, oh damn, that actually has something to do with, you see what I'm saying? And things I wouldn't pick up before. So I think that first off, the subconscious seeds that I was just seeing when I was younger, that's the first part. The second part is, which I think is the most important part that having my father played in my entrepreneurship journey, is that once he didn't even force it on me. I think he saw it one day because I don't even think he put me in the game. I think I went out there and was like, yo, I'm about to do something. And I think he saw it and was like, oh, I think he got it. And then he came and he nurtured it. He pushed it. He was like, yo, like, all right, you got the lawnmower. I bet. What you doing with your money? This is what we need to do with the money. All right, you need to get you some help for the guidance. You feel what I'm saying? I don't even think I would even been thinking about that. I wouldn't have been. I'm 11 years old. I'm not thinking about, yo, let me go get more accounts, what you would call accounts now. You see what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about when we used to be in the house, he'll be making mix CDs. And I used to sit now when I got this age, this is when I started like copying him. So like he'll be making mix CDs at the house and I'll be like, well, shit, I can make some mix CDs and sell them at school. Bet I'm taking lists at school. Let's get this money. You see what I'm saying? And then you feel me? So I think the example was helping me see different ways to make money. The nurturing of him spotting that I had it in me and not letting it be like he said, my mom was on the job thing. When he saw what I was on, he refused to not let that be nurtured because he knew that it's the only way for me to go. It had to be something in him, and you can ask him this. This had to be something in him that said like, all right, I see that this is him. This is his path. He has that in him. And as a parent, I think it's important for it not to force it, but if you see it, you might want to nurture that thing, no matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was the most important thing.
Love it. Tony Rossi asked a question. He said he's been considering real estate, but currently building his first business and it's taking a lot of bandwidth. Any thoughts on knowing when entrepreneurs should start learning real estate so that we're not building two businesses at the same time?
Well, the beautiful thing, Tony, about real estate is that there's so many ways to do real estate. You don't have to, real estate doesn't have to be something that takes a lot of time and years of education to get in the game. Real estate is very basic. And depending on how you want to get into the game, it can remain basic. Like I said, there's turnkey operations where you can get into an operation, one similar to what we're putting together, whether it be wholesaling or a turnkey operation where you can purchase a property already tenant occupied, already with property management, already renovated with all brand new materials, everything warranted for a year, and a breakdown of what your monthly revenue would be, your expenses would be, your taxes, your insurance, everything packaged up for you. And as an individual who works a job with a 401k, you might come in and purchase that property one at a time, and start building a portfolio. Now, when you talk about learning the game, what you might want to learn there are the numbers. What comes along with the numbers? For instance, what comes along with purchasing a house? How much percentage do I need to put away every month on my revenue to make sure that I'm, staying in a good place as a landlord? Like if anything happens, do I have money sitting to the side to repair things and things like that? But it all depends on which way in real estate you're trying to go. You feel what I'm saying? Like real estate does not have to be something that you have to be actively in. You can put your money in and well, let me say this, real estate ain't passive either. Like, so let's just stop with this passive income. There's nothing passive about real estate. You have to do, real estate comes with work. Now, it might not be your typical work, right? But at the end of the day, even if you got a property manager, they're going to call you and say, hey, do you approve us spending this $200 on this new toilet? Ain't nothing passive about that. You got to call me and I got to talk to you. You see what I'm saying? So you don't need to know everything, but you just need to know what part of the game do you want to be in. And how you do that is you just hop on Google and you just figure it out. If you're building another business, I wouldn't suggest, unless you have the bandwidth and you have the experience of being an entrepreneur for a long time, I wouldn't suggest trying to build two businesses at one time.
So let me jump in. Real quick. Let me say this. And I need everybody to hear this. It is okay to run and build two businesses. even at the same time. Let me start with that. It is okay. Now, the question that you have to ask yourself is the first business that I have generating revenue, and is it a system? Does it have, come on, Mel. Does it have structure? Does it have staff? Is there strategy? Is there system? And I'm gonna add that other S. Is it streaming? Right? Is it a stream? Meaning, is it a flowing business? And what we do is we say, yo, I'm supposed to have multiple streams, but you never created that one stream. And so now you got is multiple drips. So I'm running 5 businesses right now, not 5 programs, 5 LLCs, 5 businesses, and about to roll out another one. But I'm only able to do that because I sat my little fast tail down and I built grindation to a certain point that it is a stream. So now I can take the system, those 5 S's, that's the new S2, y'all, the stream, that's the new S. So now we got that. So now we got a system running in one place. And now I can say, yup, now let me duplicate the system. Let me do a plug and play. And look, if you think about Warren Buffett. How many businesses does Warren Buffett own? Somebody just jump in and tell me.
One.
Oh, no, he got way more than one business.
I was gonna say that dude, I can't even keep count. He got a lot of them.
I'm just saying, he got businesses. And here's what he does. He got a system. So when he goes out and buys a business, that's what investing in real estate. Every property that you got is a business. Let that breathe. Every one of your properties is a business. And you need to be able to manage the business. So yes, Tony, you can run more than one business, but I, as coach, I'm gonna ask you, tell me the numbers on that first business you got. Let me see what those numbers look like. What's your P&L look like? Do you have structure? Do you have staff? Like, are you generating? Because what'll happen is you'll start dibbling and dabbling into the real estate. You don't even know what you're doing in this business that you got here. And then when another opportunity comes, and now you all over the place and you haven't learned the foundation. Your mindset isn't right. Your messaging isn't right. Your marketing isn't right. Your monetizing isn't right. You don't have no structure, no staff, no strategy, no system, and no stream.
And what I would like to say is,
go ahead.
Like, be patient. Like for real. Like, everybody's in such a rush to be on, or not even to be on, to say, yo, I got multiple businesses. Like, it's like a thing that people want to say, like, I got streams, I got this business, that bit, and it make you feel good. But really, that's not the move. Be patient. Focus on building something for real with the 5 S's that he just spoke about. Build something first, and then focus on adding on to that build. Mind you, I didn't start adding on. I've been doing strictly real estate for a long time. Now, I might get money in different ways within real estate, but at the end of the day, don't get so caught up on the hype and what's going on. I suggest that y'all really start blocking out a lot of everything that y'all are looking at and seeing, all the consumption that you're taking in, because it's throwing you off your game and it's distracting you and confusing you for what you really should be doing. Every time you see something new, you get confused on what you should be doing because you feel like that's really the move to get you to the promised land the quickest way. And there is no fast way to the promised land, I promise you.
I think the best question that everybody can ask themselves, and you can take it off, is let me get one way, let me get one business, let me get one stream, let me get one thing built and moving. And then understand the foundation that you got that sitting on before you jump off. Like we talk about that one seed, that one apples come from one seed. Get that one thing going, and then say, you know what? I'm ready to pop up into another. I'm ready. And let me tell you what happens. True, this is true. As he saw me coming up in the shop, and some of y'all that I know have been in the shop, every time an opportunity came or a hustle came, I would jump on it. We would jump on it. And we would have drips coming in, but we never created a steady flowing stream. So we was making money on work. We was making money on DVDs. We was making money in the shop. We was making money on these things, but nothing was solid. Nothing was tangible. And they weren't businesses. They were hustles. And there is a difference. So get that one thing popping. I'm talking about popping, where if I say to you, yo, let me see your P&L. And you don't look at me like I'm crazy, like, what is the P&L, coach? Like, understand your numbers. Like, when you can do that, then now it's time to say, now I can take what I learned from building this, the mistakes that I've made, the lessons that I've learned, and now I can duplicate a model or a system in something else.
Before Jess takes it, there was a comment actually in the chat related to that, which said hustlers make the best entrepreneurs. So I think a lot of times that's a myth. Hustlers make the best hustlers. It takes skill, it takes coaching, it takes structure, it takes discipline to go from hustling to entrepreneurship. Like, you can't hustle forever. So a lot of times people are able to get themselves to a certain dollar amount every year by hustling, but it comes to a point that you're going to want to grow and scale. And so you have to put yourself in a position where you're not just out here. We talked about this earlier, like chasing everything, going after everything. There has to be those 4 S's, and the 5th one he just added in order to make sure that you are really taking it from hustle to entrepreneurship. One of the biggest things is a lot of hustlers don't have leadership qualities. They have hustling qualities, but they don't know how to lead people. Another thing is, when it comes to the systems and the structures, that whole I got to sit down and be still and sit in one thing for a moment. Like, for those of us who are addicted to hustling, and I'm going to throw myself in that category, it is hard to take a step back and be like, let me just sit here and let me develop a system in order to make this happen. And I'll share this last thing, is a lot of times when we're hustling, we don't know how we did it. We have no clue what work went into it. We are addicted to the work and addicted to the byproduct most of the time, which is money. So then it's like, all right, let's just get out here and just do whatever. So now when you tell us to slow up and ask us to go back to recreate our steps, that's just not something that we're familiar with. So you have to make sure that you're able to effectively move in both spaces, because you can't hustle forever.
Mel, can I speak to that? Let me see. No, I was just saying.
You sure can.
I was just saying in the space of like their character. Like, I don't know any hustler that doesn't have the grit for entrepreneurship. Is like the space I'm saying that from, because like he said, if you've been an employee and you know you can just sit around or play around at the job and still get paid, it's not the same. Like, when you hustling, you know, I'm getting up every day at 6 o'clock because I'm gonna be on the corner at 7. I'm gonna do this, and this. Everybody doesn't have that. Like, the hustlers I've seen, and the way he was just talking about what he did for all those years, it was probably, as hard as he's saying it was, I can tell it was probably a much easier transition than somebody that's just been at their job chilling, like, the money coming, whether I do something or
It's that
not.
mindset thing, Coach Love.
Hold on.
It's that
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah. Hold on. Coach, first of all, is your name Coach Love? Because that's fire, like right there. That's that joint, Coach Love. I like that. But let me tell you what it is. And you 1000% right. Here's where the toughest because I don't think I hustle with the best of them. We hustle, like a lot of us hustle with the best of them. Here's the hardest part. To go from, you got to do this. You got to hustle, learn how to hustle for your business and not turn your business into a hustle. The hardest transition for me was taking my hustle, write this down, and understanding that I got to have the same grind, the same hustle, but now it's a different product and a different service. That's the first part. The second part is, as a hustler, sometimes we are in the mindset of being transactional. Like, it's a transaction. I'm gonna give you this, you give me that. And I'm always in transaction mode when as a business owner, you should be playing this game from decade to decade and making sure that you're able to scale the business.
And remember, there's a difference between business owner, entrepreneur. Actually, at these days, y'all done killed it for me. Actually, these days, hustler, entrepreneur is the same thing to me. I like, for real. Like, you got a business owner is the separation. You feel what I'm saying? Like, when you own a business, even because entrepreneur and a business owner is 2 different things. A CEO, you feel what I'm saying? A CEO and an entrepreneur, 2 different things. You feel what I'm saying? The way you move, and that's where I'm at right now. Right now, I'm in a position where I'm shifting to more of a CEO, more of a owner, more of a, you feel what I'm saying? A overseer than always in the mix. Okay. All right, now Brett Ross, we got a couple more questions. I know we're about to go. I want to make sure I hit everybody's questions real quick.
Yeah, actually, the last question was Gardius. He asked, what was the first position that you hired for in your real estate business? All
right, so first position we ever hired for was we had VAs for cold calling. That was back when cold calling was really our thing. Go ahead, Jordan.
Finish answering the question first.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do y'all see how the lion coming all up at him, Jake Ross Melfi? Y'all see how he just trying to take over the call?
Yeah, I saw the chat. He just popped up. I got a question.
Yeah.
So basically, we hired the VAs first to do marketing because, like I said before, marketing is like the most important in the lifeblood to your business. You have to have the marketing in. So the first thing we did was hire VAs. But outside of VAs, because I know everybody knows that, the next position was acquisitions manager. And we've ran through acquisitions managers. They are not easy to come by. They're difficult to come by. I'm gonna keep it real with you. But you're gonna have to go through a few of them until you get the right one. But the key to finding the right acquisitions manager is you have to have somebody who knows how to get up and go to work. Now you're not necessarily looking for an entrepreneur either. You're not necessarily looking for somebody who wants to be a business owner, because when you hire people that want to be business owners, you're probably not going to keep them for that long. All right. But at the same time, you want somebody who has the experience to be able to run and operate, like management, who knows how to handle people. So an acquisitions manager who knows how to grind, who has some hustle in them, who knows how to handle people, and who knows how to talk to people. That's really all you need. You can teach them the actual basics of negotiating, the numbers and things like that. But as long as they know how to speak and communicate with people, as long as they got some hustle about themselves, and they not just coming to take your structure to go build their own, which I don't mind if you tell me up front, because now I know I need to plan for you to come in and, swap you out with somebody else later. But my biggest suggestion would be to find somebody who likes working for somebody else and who would rather not build it from scratch.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna interrupt you. So we do got two more questions, and we gotta make these joints short because we're already at 8:00. Jordan, go ahead. What's your question? And then Phil, I got you.
Okay. My question is, my question for you is like, far as like, I know like we talking about hustling and grinding, but I mean like I know definitely somebody on this call can definitely relate to it. Like, say for example, I know like when you first started off, like I know like definitely like when you believe in something so much, the point is like it's really hard to shake it. Like you believe in this and you so persistent at doing what you're doing, and it's like you ain't really trying to do nothing now. It's like how do you know when it's like, all right, enough is enough? Because I know sometimes with me, I believe in the idea so much that I'm all in with this idea. I don't care if it go up, it go down. I'm still all in with this idea. How do you know when to like, all right, I know I need to get away from this particular thing?
That's a good question. I think that you got to know how to be real with yourself. You feel me? Because here's the thing. Sometimes I can be doing something, and if I'm so emotionally in it, like, yo, I know this is it, you can stop yourself from looking at something logically and you know what I'm saying? Like from a point of what's really going on. So meaning if you're doing a business, for example, and let's just say that in your head, you like, I know this is it. And let's just say it's a product that you're selling, but nobody's buying the product. At some point in time, you got to sit back and look and see, well, why is nobody buying the product? Is there something I can do to tweak it? Is there something that needs to make it better? Or is this just not the product? As more so than believing in what you're doing or the product or the move that you're making, I would say increase the level of belief in yourself and trust your instincts and trust yourself in the way that you do. Because then you can sit back, look at it objectively, and you can really tell yourself and evaluate the situation and find out what's working and what's not working.
Let me actually elaborate on that.
Go ahead.
The first thing is, most of the time we go into these products and services and we don't have an idea of what we define as a success, right? And so what is your objective when you decide to launch this product? Are you expecting a certain amount of sales? Are you expecting a certain amount of views, impressions, hits, leads? Like, what is your version of success? And then the second thing is, how are you going to evaluate it? Are you checking in with yourself weekly to see what your numbers look like? Are you looking at every 30 days? So figure out a way to evaluate it. And then also give yourself a timeline. So after 90 days, I expect to see some sort of progress, right? If it's after 30, I'm looking at myself and I see that sales are not increasing. Is it a marketing problem, a people problem, or is it the fact that I'm just not working hard enough? And so a lot of time we'll deem something as not being successful when the reality is you're not putting any work daily in order to make it happen. You're not jumping out the trunk with the books. You're not popping up and telling 5 to 10 people about your product, at least per day. So it's like making sure that before you say that it's unsuccessful, that you're putting the work in and you figured out a way to evaluate yourself for success.
That part.
That's exactly what she said. And right, everybody write this word down. KPIs, key performance indicators. And that is where you're able to measure just what Mel said, what those results look like. And Mel, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, a lot of us, we got this drive and this desire in us to be successful, but you ain't got no KPI. Like, you don't know what your measurement of success is. If we just take it down to its raw, bare principle, if you got a product or a program, it is about generating revenue. If you're in business, you call yourself a business owner, entrepreneur. So if it's not selling, just like she said, why isn't it selling? What am I doing and what am I not doing? And then before you throw in the towel, then you say, what adjustments do I need to make in order to, maybe I need to get on the block a little more. Maybe I need to go sit in Starbucks with the book sitting right there. Maybe I need to wear the shirt more. What do you need to do more of? But at the end of the day, if the product ain't selling, whether it's a program or product, ask yourself, what have you been doing out in the marketplace? And if you don't have those KPIs, you'll never know.
And I got to throw this out there. Even you don't have to go to college to get a degree in order to figure out how to run your business. But what you do have to do is become a lifetime learner and surround yourself with people who are doing what you're trying to do. So that when you hear things like KPI or metrics or objectives or whatever it is, like, it's not a foreign term for you. And so you have to be so invested, not only in just moving the work, but making yourself the best entrepreneur, making yourself the best person possible in order to be the lead and head of your business. CEOs are just not a title. You have to earn it and you have to show up like one.
I'm gonna come at it from a different aspect. We've all been, all of us have been in part of a situationship, an entanglement, something that you wasn't supposed to be doing. And you knew you wasn't supposed to be doing it. And then most of the time it all crashed down. And we always see the signs before it crashed. Always. We just being stubborn and greedy. And so I would answer that question in that way of, you know what's about to crash down if you keep doing things the way that you're doing. And so I would say you got to stop yourself before you crash, because it's not just you that crashes, it's everything else around you and everybody else around you. Phil.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. I got a real estate question. And all the real estate you see, what's the best rate of return? Flip, wholesale, own, rent? What do you see in the game is the best rate of return?
So the best rate of return determines specifically on your style and your lifestyle and what you need. For instance, I'm gonna give you a pure example. When you talk about a fix and flip, and let's say you can gross, or let's say you can net 40K, right? On that $40,000, but let's say that fix and flip takes you 6 months. 6 months divided by 40 grand is less than what? That's about 6,500 a month ish, right? I can wholesale 10,000, 15,000 every single month on that same 40 grand when you divide that by 6 months. Now, taking into consideration, every wholesale deal is a transaction though. So if you have the type of lifestyle to where let's just say you work and you do real estate, and maybe you don't have the time to be in the trenches every month getting 10 to 15 to 20K worth of wholesale deals, then to work on a fix and flip project over the next 6 months might be beneficial for you, right? But when you're talking about the amount of time it takes to generate that 40K, that ROI might not be impressive to you. For me, I don't want to make 40 grand over 6 months doing a fix and flip just because of all of the issues that come with doing a fix and flip, right? All the inspections, you got to deal with the retail buyer and their emotions. You got to deal with the inspectors passing you and things like that. Contractors doing right and not doing right. Or you can wholesale and make $10,000, $15,000 off of 2 or 3 deals in a month and do that every single month. Now over 6 months, I might have did 12 to 18 deals for that 40, and I might have kicked out X amount of money for marketing. But like I said, it's all about your rate. It's all about your experience. Now, when you talk about a rental property, I want to see at least 15% gross, at least bare minimum. To me, rental properties are more long game, right? Now, 1% is the 1% rule is basically like a 12% ROI on your real estate rental property. That is a great target to be at, because the 1% rule means that, like, let's say if a property is renting for $1,200 a month, you don't want to pay no more than $1,200. Your note gonna be like $800. You can gross cash flow $400 minus your expenses, right? It's all about your lifestyle and your investing goals. That's really the true answer to it. If you don't mind sitting down and doing a flip for 6 months to make 40 or 50, then that's cool. You might be the type of person who wants more activity, right? And if you want more activity, wholesaling. But I would say when you talk about an overall ROI based off the money that you put in and the money that you get back out, wholesaling does provide the best ROI, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yo, thank you. Appreciate y'all. We would love, I just put this in the chat though.
We have another question, Justin, on YouTube.
Okay, but let me say what I got to say real quick. I want to make sure I get this in because y'all be going, man. Y'all be trying to steal my shine. Before we log off, man, I would love it. Everybody, we got 63 people still on here. If you could drop one takeaway in the chat, just drop one takeaway in the chat. Hey, my man on YouTube, you got to hop on the call, man. Register for the call. What does it say on YouTube?
It says.
So it's LaRonda. First of all,
my girl.
Okay.
It says, how do you
So
recalibrate without
okay.
looking like you were all over the place to your audience?
Say that one more time.
How do you recalibrate without looking like you're all over the place to your audience?
How do you recalibrate without looking like you're all over the place to your audience?
Mm-hmm.
The first, well, y'all can answer this after me, but personally, I think the fact that you're even thinking about how to recalibrate and without looking crazy to your audience, to me, is crazy. And no offense, but the reason being is because you're thinking way too much about your audience. Like, just do the work. In my opinion, I'm not no expert, no guru on social media. In my opinion, I be seeing people making an announcement. All right, for instance, you sell beauty products and then you want to change the game and then you want to make an announcement. I'm about to start doing something new. Just do it. I don't want to give a damn what you about to start new. I mean, for real, real talk, like for real. Oh, I'm about to be on this. Just do it. And if the people who want to follow that part of what you're doing decide to follow you, then that's cool. And if they say that they don't like that about you, hey, you got to be objective. Switch it up. But at the end of the day, I don't need an announcement to an announcement to an announcement. Ain't no recalibration needed. Just do it.
So let me say this, LaRonda. You can still hear us. Before you go through the recalibration process, you first want to make sure that you check your KPIs, and you're not just recalibrating to do the same old thing that you did the last time. Remember, you got to have what you're doing sitting on those 5 S's: structure, staff, strategy, systems, and it needs to be a stream. So before you recalibrate, just like Mel said on the last question, what does success look like for you in your current state? Like in your current brand, in your current product, in your current program, and is it sitting on a solid foundation? So before you recalibrate, how about you check and make sure that what you're doing, if it's even broke, if it's something that you need to recalibrate, or if it's a pivot or an adjustment that you need to make. And then if you determine that you do need to recalibrate, just what Kendall said, just do it. People think that we're all over the place because we look like we're all over the place when we do stuff. It's just because, and there's nothing wrong. Who's that? Kodak. Somebody tell me what kind of company Kodak is.
Kodak was a film company back in the probably.
Hold on, Phil. Don't take the whole thing away.
All right.
You're about to take the whole thing away.
All right,
So
well,
what kind of company? It was a film company, pictures, right? What does Kodak do now? Go ahead, Phil.
they're gonna do the drug for COVID. So they got a couple $2 billion deal.
Exactly. Now watch this. Kodak don't look crazy because they're going from, you're talking about two different hookups right there. They don't look crazy because they have established themselves in business. So now when they're doing a recalibration, they're just changing the business model and they don't look crazy. But if you're recalibrating every 20 days or every 10 minutes, you look crazy because you don't have one solid thing going. Again, one seed. Go ahead, Ross.
I could be
Oh,
wrong.
hold up. Ross, was there anybody else?
No.
Okay, go ahead, Kendall.
No, I was gonna say, I think I could be wrong, but I think, recalibration to me is just another thing to stop you from just keeping moving forward. Like, I think people are always coming up with different fancy words and different things to say or think that throw them off from actually doing the actual work. And sometimes I just think that it's not even necessary to think about recalibration. Sometimes it's just necessary to really just go in and just do what you feel. Stop worrying about other people so much. Stop worrying about what are the people gonna think? What do they think about this? Do it and then evaluate and then adjust. Do it, evaluate, and adjust. And that's my process. When people ask how you do it, how do you be, I do it, I evaluate, and I adjust. Matter of fact, I like that. Do it, evaluate, and adjust. That's like my steps.
DEA.
It's
No.
interesting because I
Hell
think
No.
John don't do that to you, too.
I was like, yeah.
DEA.
Hey,
No, sir.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna add something to that too. I do think that we get too worried about what people are looking at. I got a message yesterday that said, "Yo," from Coach. It was like, "Yo, things are looking good, looking clean, graphics looking good, consistency, blah blah blah." And that's because I wasn't worried about who was watching. I was more worried about doing the work, and I've been doing the work and being consistent. And I don't care whether the way that we work. I don't really care if he says something or not. I don't care who likes it or not. I know it's working by the KPIs, right? The result. I'm being able to close clients. I'm being able to interact with my audience. People are indicating that they're interested in what I'm doing. And so you got to stop being able to not stop worrying about what people are thinking and just focus on the work and doing, and the results will come. And when you need to shift, people will notice that you have a shift. So you shift and you just get it done.
So I want to say something to that too. I'm gonna go all the way back. I think a lot of times we don't respect the phase that we are in business. So most of us who choose business, entrepreneurship, we had 1,000 hustles before we found one way in order to really make money and to make business work. And so you have to understand where you are. Are you really in a phase where you are committed to this idea? You're solving problems, you're making money, you're doing what you need to do, going back to what Coach K just said a few minutes ago, then you go back and see if I recalibrate. Now, if you are in your experimental phase, where you just out there and you're doing 5 different things to see what sticks, that is okay, right? Honor that space that you're currently in, because as you reevaluate and as you see like, this is moving over here, but this isn't moving right here, you're gonna find your lane that feels good to you and that you're able to excel in. But if you hold on to every idea that you have and vision and dream, you're gonna stagnate yourself and you're gonna find yourself stuck.
All right. I'm so glad we had this time together. Just this singing, whatever. Now, we appreciate y'all coming. K2, thanks for jumping on with us. We got another special guest coming on next week, guys. Again, let's just go out and do the work, and then report on social media the results from the work, right? And then Kendall's got a new acronym called DEA. We're going to ride with the DEA.
On that.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great grind Saturday. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Hey, Coach.
Take it easy.
Thanks, guys.
Great call. Amazing.
Thank you.